Hello, Tarnished, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a hot topic that's been stirring up the Souls-like community, game journalism's take on the genre, and specifically why Polygon's recent article on Souls-like fatigue misses the mark so badly. I'm talking about their piece titled "Souls-likes are suffering from genre fatigue, but players aren't," which really highlights a disconnect between some critics and what Souls-like games actually are. Spoiler alert, it comes down to one key issue. These journalists aren't just frustrated by the difficulty, they don't quite get why we love Souls-like in the first place. So let's unpack this. Polygon's article claims Souls-likes are experiencing genre fatigue and suggests that players are tired of the formula. Yet sales and player engagement say otherwise. The real problem? Polygon frames the genre as exhausting and overly punishing in a negative way. They imply the difficulty is a barrier, not a feature. But here's the catch, Souls-likes are supposed to be hard. They are designed to challenge players, to push your limits, and to reward learning through failure. The article misses this fundamental appeal, instead seeing difficulty as a flaw rather than the core mechanic that defines the genre. The crux is many journalists approach Souls-like expecting casual or effortless gameplay when they don't get it. They call it fatigue. But for fans, the difficulty is the reason to keep playing. Each death is a lesson, each boss is a puzzle, the struggle is the story. From Software's design philosophy has been about earned victory, and many Souls-like follow this pattern. Instead of shying away from the challenge, players lean into it. This is why games like limerivt and Elden Ring have strong followings despite the steep learning curve. One of the best points from the video by Mr. Hardcore Mode is how game journalists often overlook the sheer work involved in winning Souls-like. It's not just button mashing or mindless grinding, it's study, precision, strategy, and adaptability. This grind, the hours spent learning enemy patterns, perfecting dodges, tweaking builds, is what fuels the community's passion. When journalists complain about genre fatigue, they're ignoring the joy players find in this deep engagement. Polygon's tone often reads like frustration rather than analysis. The journalists seem to want quick gratification and get discouraged by the trial and error design. This leads to an outsider perspective where Souls-like feel punishing instead of rewarding. In contrast, the fans view each failure as part of the journey, part of the storytelling. The disconnect happens because some critics approach these games as casual entertainment, not as rigorous, skill-based experiences. When big outlets like Polygon frame Souls-like negatively, it can discourage new players and hurt the genre's reputation. It also undercuts the work devs put into crafting these intense experiences. Calling Souls-like fatiguing without understanding the player's mindset reduces the genre to a niche for masochists, instead of a deeply rewarding challenge. That's not fair to either players or developers. One of the biggest misconceptions fueling the genre fatigue talk is the belief that Souls-like are oversaturated, that there are just too many of them flooding the market. But when you look at the numbers, that's simply not true. Compared to massive genres like Battle Royale, first-person shooters, or even open-world RPGs, the actual count of Souls-like releases each year is relatively low. This isn't a genre pumping out dozens of new titles every quarter, it's a niche with fewer, but carefully crafted games. The quality over quantity approach means every release gets a lot of attention and community discussion. Titles like limerivt, Kazan, AI Limit, and Night Rain stand out because they innovate rather than just copy. This selective release schedule keeps the genre fresh and exciting. Fans are actually eating good right now, with a golden era of high-quality Souls-like rather than just a flood of forgettable ones. So claims of saturations just don't hold up under scrutiny. The community's passion and engagement prove that Souls-like are far from worn out. They're evolving and thriving. The supposed fatigue is more about the difficulty of the games themselves than an actual overload of content. And honestly, if you're a fan, this steady drip of exceptional Souls-like games is exactly what we wanted in the first place. The genre's future depends on understanding its unique appeal. That means embracing difficulty as a design strength, not a flaw. It also means reviewers and journalists should engage with the genre's nuances, like lore, world building, and combat depth, not just complaining about difficulty. Games like Wu-Chang and Liza P show Souls-like can innovate while respecting these fundamentals. Media coverage should reflect that nuance. So, to sum up, Polygon's article is a good example of why some game journalists struggle with Souls-like. They're upset because these games make you work, and that's exactly why fans love them. The genre fatigue narrative misses the point. So if you're a Souls-like fan, keep playing, keep learning, and don't let lazy takes get you down. The grind is so worth it in the end. Thanks for watching. If you agree or disagree, drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take on this whole debate. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Souls-like discussions, reviews, and gameplay. And if you haven't already, head on over to my Twitch at limerivt, where I play Souls-like games Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays every single week. Until next time, stay strong out there in the lands between, or wherever your journey takes you.